These patterns can help you understand where we are in the trend cycle and therefore what is the next most likely outcome so that you can get into position to benefit from it. Today, I'm going to show you that the last pillar of support for the economy has technically broken a critical level of support. And I'm sorry, I'm getting chills. But while spot gold is still looking for its next level of resistance on the top, the world seeks safety in physical gold. These patterns and more tell us of an impending crisis. And this knowledge enables you to get into the best possible position to accomplish your goals. That's why your goals come first and foremost in our sound money strategy. Now remember, what creates and supports the dollar is the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. In other words, as long as you trust them, you have faith, you will continue to work for and accept as payment U.S. dollars, which are created from government debt and borrowed into existence. That is why governments and central banks track sentiment, expectations, and confidence, because it's a con game. And what we're watching and experiencing right now is that confidence on a global basis is eroding quickly now. And if public confidence, which is the last pillar, is the only thing holding the system together, don't you want to know when that confidence is gone before it's too late? Because once that confidence is gone, it's almost impossible to get back. Look at Zimbabwe. But you need to understand what's truly happening, because it's the only way for you to make educated choices that put your best interest first. So what was happening back in 1981? How about being in the middle of the transition from at least a quasi-gold standard to a full debt-based standard, and the start of the greedy 80s, which parallels the roaring 20s. And I bring this up because history repeats itself. And so therefore, these are some of the patterns that we see to get us used to this transition. But you need that bridge to get over that. We are in full social, economic, and financial system reset, and it should be obvious to everybody. But the truth is that when one monetary system dies, another one pops up to take its place. Physical gold, physical silver in your possession is the most secure bridge to get you from one system into the other with, guess what? Your purchasing power intact and frankly even expanded, because remember, physical gold and physical silver suppression in the system is what? A rising gold price indicates a failing currency. Can you see that now? Because in 2002, a $1 move in spot gold was considered huge. That's when I first transitioned into the gold markets, because I knew that the technicals were telling me that we were at the end of this currency's life cycle. And then today, well, I knew that it would be there. And it's funny because I was just listening to actually not that long ago video that I did where I said, I know that 3,000 sounds outrageous. How about 40,000 on the true value of an ounce of gold? Today, spot gold closed up $58.16, and I've seen moves up to $100. I knew this day was coming, and now it is finally here. But really, what does that mean to you? Well, remember we talked about that quadruple top? There it is, where spot gold would go to a top price and then pull back. Well, that's a very powerful pattern that warned us back then that any move above that level was going to be big, because it happened 4 times. We can go back and look at those videos where I talked about that. But particularly, quite honestly, Quadruple tops are extraordinarily rare. So it's not surprising that this move has been as big as it is, because it's kind of like, when you push down on a spring and you push there and you hold it down, When you release your hand, the price shoots in a direction. In terms of the consumer sentiment, it broke below, so it's shooting down. But in terms of spot gold, because it broke a top resistance level, it's shooting up. I got to be honest, these patterns are way smarter than we are, certainly than I am. They can guide you to the next most likely outcome. And now, with consumer sentiment plunging and inflation expectations spiking, what are they telling you? They're telling you and the world that there is no safety in dollars in this crap in government debt, that confidence is going away and eroding rapidly. They're telling you to get to the safety of gold. And that's why you see the prices being uncontrollable in terms of the Treasury and the central bank. They can't stop these prices anymore. So I just showed you that the last support, that public confidence, is beginning to collapse. My concern, and when I always told you that I would be going to my bug out property, is when the public loses confidence, and here's the key, panics. I can't tell you the exact moment that will happen, but I can tell you that a critical support and consumers' willingness and ability to take on more debt has now been broken. It's over. What will you do about it? If you don't have a plan, that is a plan to fail. The foundation of the plan has to be in sound money. So you have that bridge to get you safely from this system into the next. But please, please find a community near you. Go to a community garden, volunteer, meet people, go to a farmer's market, get to know those who provide your food, because food is the single biggest issue that most people face. And I think you can see that now as that unfolds. Give these guys a day of your time. Create that relationship and that local community with everyone sharing what they have to contribute. Whether it's gold and silver or food or laying irrigation, for goodness sakes. If you don't have any skills, everybody's got skill sets. Look, everybody's got value that they can bring to the community. We need to come together to get through this, period. And what I showed you today is a big, big, big warning. But it's not the first big warning, it's another big warning. How many do you need? If you help yourself, you'll be able to help others. But we must do this globally as well. We need to grow our voice. And we can do that by coming together and holding the only financial asset that runs zero counterparty risk. That's what makes gold valuable. That's what puts it above all governments, all central banks. The complete collapse of confidence always ushers in hyperinflation. That's a guarantee. Now, I believe that we've already seen the technicals of that beginning. It's just not obvious to the public yet, but the window of opportunity is still open to build your sound money strategy, as well as food, water, energy, security, that barter ability, that wealth preservation, community, and shelter.